You sent a Grant Cardone quote that, by the way, I do agree with, but do you want to address the Cardone quote and how you've been using it for cash?
Yes. So the Cardone quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but he says that nobody can beat his frequency no matter what, which means he's everywhere all the time. He's got the
I
most
think it's
apps.
your creative won't beat my frequency.
Right, something like that. Yeah, exactly, actually. And I've taken that to heart. And for me, been tweeting, if anybody follows me, like, I think between engagement, retweets, and actual tweets, probably like 30 times a day. Like, because I retweet all day, I'm engaging all day, and then I tweet as well 3 to 4 to 5, maybe more times a day. Because I usually schedule 3 tweets that are very like meticulous, and then I also shit post. I post memes. I talk all sorts of shit, but I literally will tweet about sports. I'll tweet about everything.
When you say meticulous, is it like hard value tweets or like processed tweets? Like, can you, give me an example of a meticulous tweet?
Competence proving tweets. So tweets where.
So what you like tweet today, for example?
So one of the tweets today so I'm gonna skip to the end of our little discussion board, but one of the tweets, this was actually off the hip, but surprisingly, right, is like, for example, I've invested like 30 grand into courses and masterminds and coaches and cohorts, and all of those coaches, cohorts, masterminds, and courses and all sorts of shit templates have just culminated into the product that we produce at my agency, right? Everything I create for my clients has a little bit of sauce pulled from all those places. Maybe like one course got me 10 different templates on our content, another one's gotten me some sort of Notion dashboard that we use, another one got me a framework for storytelling, Tweets and Clients has helped me with positioning and sawdust and all this thing, like pulling it from all these places. I mean, Client Ascension has given us so much on the automation side and operations, all this shit. So this is all stuff I have stuff from Sam Ovens, like warm app style.
I wanna talk about like that tweet specifically because I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really smart. And I'm gonna tell you of another tweet I sent out that I thought was kind of smart too. But let's go over the Cardone thing. You had a point over there.
Yeah. So, for me, it's like, as much as I see a lot of, competitors tweeting very much, in my opinion, the old school style, like very well written to show that, almost like display that they're a good writer, which is great. I consider myself a pretty good writer. But for me, I'd rather put out 30 to 40 actions, I'll call them actions, per day on Twitter than just do like one or two like really well written listicle style tweets, right? Like, I'm all in on frequency, and
so an action would be like commenting and engaging,
comment, retweet, engaging,
gotcha,
tweeting, threads, all that, like all day.
Yeah, I'm big on that one. Like, you don't want to be ignored. Like, a lot of people don't like me in this space, but and some people do like me, but like I keep appearing, like the tweet hunter thing, and then it's like some people block me and we're talking about it still. And then the ghostwriter thing, we got to talk about that. The don't hire a ghostwriter thread. Yeah, we got to talk about it. Like, a lot of people just hated it, but still, I was on the timeline. It was in action, like you say. I've never heard it put it that way, but I like it.
Definitely like maximum frequency. I think people undervalue frequency. I think too many people they're playing like a passive income. Like, everyone wants to be a solopreneur. Everyone wants to win their time back. I'm like, you can keep your fucking time. I want to be on the timeline all fucking day. I am chronically on Twitter. Like, I'm on Twitter. If I'm not in the real world, it's because I'm on Twitter, like all day, like back and forth. I don't even care. You call me addicted, but puts me ahead,
That's right. I want to talk about that tweet you said that I thought was brilliant. I want to cover your tweet, and then I'm going to read your tweet, and you tell me if your logic was kind of the same logic I think you had for this, and then I'm going to go over mine. But for you, I've now invested well over $30,000 on courses for me and my team to round out our product and skills. Courses from Molina, Black Hat Wizard, Andre, Danko, Kieran, and Justin Welsh, and much more. Our clients aren't just investing in an agency, a writer, or a transformation. This is good. They're gaining access to cultivated knowledge from across the Twitterverse to create the ultimate service. Why did you tweet this?
Well, I tweeted that one because, interestingly enough, when I first onboarded my team, and I've had the same team for a really long time now, we're kind of like the Avengers.
It's like you and two other dudes, right?
Yeah, me, 2 writers, and my executive assistant, Sonia. I told them from day one, if you ever want a course, I'll buy it for the team and you'll have access. So Kieran Drew just dropped his new course like 2 days ago. One of my writers sent it to me this earlier today and was like, this would be a sick course to have access to. I just instantly bought it, and I just sent them the login information with the company email, and I glazed over the course and boom, found something that I can implement for my clients. So that's why I tweeted it. the thought process is when I was actually, crafting the tweet was I literally invested $30,000, which is much more than I charge clients. So it quite literally is so much, like I have so much more value than what I'm charging. So that was number one, right? Like I'm crafting my offer in a way that it sounds extremely valuable, because it is. And then number two is I'm tagging a bunch of big accounts so I get engagement.
That's right. There you go. No, I thought it was really smart. Like I was like, yeah, okay. When are you gonna talk about the retweet? I was like, fine, Marcos. But
Yeah.
I thought it was smart, because you put the bigger accounts and they're gonna engage with you, and I retweeted it because you put me at the top, so it makes me look good. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I thought it was really smart. I feel like I got this from this account called, I think it's Callicrates on Twitter, Callicrates_. It's a Hercules flexing. He said that one of the best ways to network, it's don't try to network, but buy their stuff and implement it, get results, then come back and tell them how much it actually worked.
Right.
And that puts you like, you're giving them something, you're giving them that sort of validation, but it's not an implicit ask. So I feel like that tweet was smart. Do you have anything to add about that? Or do you want to go into the next one?
In the last podcast didn't go live yet, right?
No, not yet. But by the time this one goes out, you'll be able to see it.
So in that episode, for those who are watching, you should go back. We talk about, especially as a beginner, how to network. And one of the things I said on how to network is I just buy people's stuff, and then I go ahead and like be the star student, and like I promote it for them, like almost like affiliate marketing. Like I'll literally get someone's course. If you go back to October, I tweeted out your stuff. I was tweeting out Dan Coe's stuff. I was like, this is the best course I've ever bought in, it was genuinely true at the time. So like, I was like, this course was so valuable. I bought it from Dan Coe. He retweeted me. And I was DMing him like in August or October or something. I joined your paid group way back when, and I was DMing you and
we're here.
Right? Like, and now we're here. Like the way I network is you have to give value, right? And if you're broke, or if you're not cool, you don't have any expertise, you don't have a lot of followers, the only thing you can give them is money. It's a value. Every relationship in business is transactional, as Hormozi would say. And when you're a small fish and you're trying to talk to a big fish, the only thing you have to offer is money. You have nothing else unless you're going to show up.
I'd say social proof. Like, to add a little caveat on that, when people say, yo, JK, your video was really good, or I really like this, you're getting a retweet. If you're not asking for it, you're getting a retweet, of course, right? Like, I had a guy that said, he summarized a webinar I did in a thread. And I was like, this is what I learned from the Molina webinar. I was like, oh, this is great. I was about to retweet it. But then at the last tweet, he said, by the way, follow me for more tips on XYZ. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. Not going to work. Yeah. Like, it's not going to work. The other day I tweeted this. I sent out a screenshot of the folders in which I collect all the tweets and clients' testimonials. So it's like e-com and growth and marketing, whatever, right? So, and I tweeted the screenshot of all those folders. And I said, it took me an hour, but I also finally put all the testimonials in folders from all the tweets and clients wins. And then you could see that there were a lot of wins, but you could also see that, like, what are the niches that people are in. I thought that was pretty cool, because then I keep retweeting it over and over again.
I like that. That reminds me of I feel like you did what I was trying to do, but you did it way better when I tweeted out, when I wrote down all the niches I would work with for coaches and info businesses on a piece of paper and tweeted out the piece of paper. I wrote like 50 different niches, like e-com, fitness, Web3, like all the different coaches that I could think of, and I tweeted it, but it didn't get me any leads. But that's the way that I should have done it, which I'm gonna.
Well, now you can do it. Like, I mean, there's nothing like, it really helps. And by the way, like, speaking to a certain character, so underrated. Like, when they see ghost writers on, I don't want to use that example anymore, because I burned that bridge.
Here's a good example, because you said you wanted to cover positioning and you think you overcomplicated it. And it could be as simple as a gap that nobody's filling, right? Like you said, Tom knees, John sleep, you monetization, me courses and programs. Like, that's kind of like filling the gaps that are just, you don't have to be necessarily different or necessarily better. You could literally just fill the gap, right?
Right, exactly. And like, even to go harder on that example, like, we're talking about like bios. So the way I feel like a bio should be set on Twitter, it's kind of this children's toy. I don't know if you guys have seen. You've probably seen it. So it's this children's toy that's like a box and it has holes in the shape of shapes, right? So like, oh, the triangle goes here, the star goes here, the circle goes here, right? So I call that like the peg bio, and I feel like that should be people's bio. Like a peg, like nobody comes through if they're not qualified. For the knee guy, like he's closing a ton of clients and his bio is I fix knee pain. Like if you don't have knee pain, you don't care. For me, it's if you have more than 3,000 followers, we triple your income. If you have less than 3,000 followers, go to somebody else. I can't really help you. For you, it's what's your bio now?
Now it's we help coaches, course creators, and experts add 50 to 100K a month on Twitter.
Yeah, there you go. So fitness bros are not going to follow you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also have like my social proof there, like $1 million plus in sales and 1 billion impressions for info businesses. So like very specific. I used to have like something super edgy and I was like, why would I do this? I just
You had #1 Twitter marketing agency on earth building.
Yeah. And I thought about it and I was like, I just asked myself like, which one do I think is going to get me more clients? That's all I asked myself. And I think this one will.
I think the question you're asking is the right one. Get me more clients, not getting more followers, which is, for example, software like Birdie. Like I was using birdie.so, which is basically an A/B testing for your bio. But then I thought, is this the number I want to be tracking? You know what I mean? Like, is this actually what I want? Then I switched to like UTMs and actually seeing like, am I getting qualified people? Just by the way you asked this question, I was like, this guy hates indie hackers. So here's what it goes. You asked me, I want to know your thoughts on solopreneurship versus a real business. And I'm like, so solopreneurship is not a real business? Okay, so where did this come from?
I just see a lot of people selling themselves so short. Like they get into business, let's just take ghostwriting. They become a ghostwriter. They get like 2 clients and then they're like, now I'm going to teach other ghostwriters. Now I'm going to drop an info product. You didn't even do anything yet. Like you didn't do anything. And I just think this is like the industry is really filled with garbage gurus and a lot of poor, like low effort education. And I think it messes up a lot of beginners. And I feel like it gets harder and harder every day for a beginner to find the right place to be in terms of like a mentorship or something like that. It's just there's so far and few between the good ones, and I think a lot of that comes from just like people get to 10K a month and then just want to teach people how to get to 10K a month. And this is why I've implemented the 10X rule for people, and I tweeted this. I'm like, don't invest in any mentor unless they're 10 times what you want to be. Chances are like they got lucky. Like business is very much like timing, and if they've only gotten to 10 or 20K a month, there's a high likelihood that they probably can't teach you how to get to 10 or 20K a month.
I like that reasoning. For me, offers, it's the greater the claims and specificity of the offer, the less I believe it. You know, so to me, the less hard the offer is, the more of a hint it is that it's probably a good offer, right? So if you go to Hormoz's website, you go to acquisition.com, it's, are you ready to scale? That's the offer. It's not this happens or your money back or I'll fly to Bali for you, right? It's like, so like the more people add it to the offer, the more skeptical I am of it, which is why I do like it more when the offer is vague. So now we changed it to, we'll triple your income. We don't have any guarantees. We don't have any time frame. We just say this is the North Star we're aiming for. And we have noticed personally that once we removed all those 1% tweaks instead of the 50% tweaks, we started getting way better lead flow. Have you found something similar?
Yeah, something like that. Like we have really just dialed in on like ideal prospect and like very minuscule, like kind of what you're doing, like a lot of micro adjustments instead of like big changes. I think that's where the money's made at a certain level. Like at your level, like it would lose you more money to make a drastic change than it would gain you. So like constantly split testing and getting 1% better here and there on your positioning. I think that's what we do a lot with bigger clients who have a lot of followers already. Clients that are typically already are kind of low. It's very much like what's going to stick, right? I saw this is actually a good point. I saw a really good tweet from Jeremy Moser, who does Instagram for info businesses, right? And he was saying like, you could post 90 videos and get nothing, like no engagement, but you could then post one and go viral and it sticks and now you have an angle and you could stick on that angle and go full steam on that angle, right? So that's kind of my mindset is like, especially with people in earlier stage of business and follower count, is be more diverse, find which angle is going to stick, and then go all in on that angle instead of just telling them like, we're going to do this angle, because I don't fucking know. I don't know what angle is going to work for you, right? Every person's different. Everyone has different inflection in their voices. Everybody looks different, came from a different background. Like, you have no idea what the market's going to resonate with.
I love that, because you know what the market resonates with, because it tells it back to you. So let me give you an example. I invent 20 terms a day, and most of them are bullshit. Sometimes all of them are bullshit, right? I try to go with the false beliefs positioning, missing piece positioning. Nobody knows what the fuck that is, right? But then I mentioned whale bait, and when I see somebody copying whale bait, I'm like, oh, this is a term worth talking about. I mentioned sawdust, and I didn't invent sawdust, right? It's a common concept. But then you said it, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Likes and Cash, right? That's when it was born. Likes and Cash was born from like a tweet by Jack Butcher where he said engagement ain't cash, and I said that's cool, but it could be shorter, right? So likes and then people started saying back to me. So to me, that's when you say what does the market resonate with, of course it's what gets virality. But when other people start telling you like the bullshit that you invented in your head, that's how you know it's not bullshit. It's something you could use. It's probably something.
Yeah, that reminds me of how like I came up with the Birdhouse, because you were there when I started, right? I actually started as I was founder brands, founder tweets, like something else. Like I had all sorts of names and none of them stuck, right? But when I switched to the Birdhouse, I got people telling me that this was a sick name. People really resonated with the branding. I got people, then other competitors copying like my exact structure. Like I'm not going to say their exact names, but basically like if I'm the Birdhouse, there's like a bird villa and a bird apartment and a bird condo. like everybody actually just like stole the exact verbiage of my ghostwriting agency at the time. So I was like, must be good. So now I have hats and I wear it to all the events I go to, and I wear them on the podcast, and I bought my whole team hats. Even my assistant in fucking Ukraine is getting a hat. Like we're all in on it, right? So like that's a good point on the market will tell you.
Yeah, they tell you, like they reflect it back at you. And let me guess, the people who copied you, all ghostwriters?
Oh, of course. And, you know, funny enough is like I forced people to like switch niches. Like a lot of people, this is interesting. Like this is like pseudoscience, but I told everybody, I'm like niche down. Like, and I literally will tell people, I'm like, you're not going to beat me at my niche. So get a fucking get another niche. I'm like, go to B2B, go to Web3, go to SaaS. But like, if you're going to be a my info niche with my similar name, like good luck. Like I'll tell them straight up, like, you might as well go to like B&H, because I'm getting lead flow from other niches, and I have to refer them out, right? I refer out ghostwriting and Twitter marketing, Twitter ads. I refer people out every other day, and I don't have anyone to refer them out to. So for me, it's like if you want to just niche down in a niche that's not my niche, I got you. I'll give you leads.
Oh, there you go. Well, okay, so we're gonna turn our hats back. We're gonna be the bad guy now. Okay, we're gonna be the bad guy, and I'm gonna be the bad guy as well. I'm gonna put on my hat of the bad guy.
The villains.
So here's I'm me being the bad guy here. You know who's the best fun? Oh, you're doing it too. Yeah. Okay, so this is the bad guy hat. So you know who's the best funnel ever for tweets and clients? It's other growth programs. It's amazing how well this works, because they end up with this huge audience and they can't monetize it. And then they're like, they come to us and they're like, we just grew, but that was it, right? Like there's not good people. That was kind of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is great. Like all the growth programs, all the growth gurus, we're partners and they don't even know it. They're my best lead flow sources. They don't even know it.